Okay, so this is the second video in the software development process series that I'm creating, and it is to cover what is known as the design process, or the design phase of the software development process. The step 1 and step 2 is what I use for the analysis phase, understanding the problem and envisioning the objects, building that IPO chart. So that's the analysis phase, and as we've learned, there's 4 phases of this software development process. There's the analysis phase, there's the design phase, there's the coding phase, and then there's the testing phase. So now that we've done the analysis phase in steps 1 and 2, let's go ahead into the design phase and step number 3, build the algorithm. As we've learned, the algorithm is the logical series of steps the computer must take to complete the task. All right, so the tool that I use is something that, because this algorithm can be represented in both a graphical representation or a non-graphical representation, there's actually 2 different tools that we can use. And you'll find later on, as you become a developed or a seasoned developer, you'll choose one over the other. The non-graphical representation is probably the most common way student or programmers and developers develop this algorithm. It's known as pseudocode. And we're going to start with pseudocode as the tool that we're going to use to build a non-graphical representation of our algorithm. All right, well, let's go back and let's take a look at what that algorithm really is. And again, we've developed our IPO chart that said we're going to output the surface area of a cube. A cube has 6 sides to it, and we're going to have the user input the edge of one of those sides. So surface area is going to take the edge times 6 to produce that surface area. So our algorithm is going to be allow the user to input the edge, calculate the surface area, output the surface area. Very simple as that. Now, the program that I use to build the pseudocode, the non-graphical representation of this algorithm, is simply Word. And when we're building a piece of pseudocode, we're going to actually, there are some rules that we must follow when we are creating the pseudocode, and that's called internal documentation. As we discussed, internal documentation is the comments that we use to let us know exactly what's going on. Now, the first set of comments that we use is what I call the name it, date it, claim it comments. The name it, date it, claim it comment is simply 4 pieces of data that starts with the name, and that's the name or the author of the program. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my name. Then comes the date. The date is for which you are actually creating this algorithm. And today is 5/24/2018, not 2019 yet, oh my goodness. Next comes the application name. And we had created the program folder and we called it cube. So I'm going to call this cube.py. Py represents the fact that I'm going to build this program and develop this program in Python. And then next comes the purpose. Well, the purpose of this algorithm is to compute the surface area of a cube. And then we're going to input the cube's edge, and then we're going to output the surface area. So I'm going to take and I'm going to create my purpose, which is compute the surface area of the cube, allow the user to input the cube edge, output the surface of the cube. Now, all pseudocode starts with the word start, and it's always going to be in capital letters. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to indent, and we're going to write a comment that tells us exactly what we're going to do. And what's, wrong set of comment code. The comment syntax in Python starts with a hashtag, and what we're going to do is we're going to request the inputs. All right, so to request the input, basically what we're going to do is we're going to get, which is the keyword that we use for inputs, we're going to get the edge. And then simply, I'm going to allow the user to enter the cube's edge. And I'm going to identify that in quotes, and I'm going to make it a comment to show that that's what I'm going to prompt the user with to get that cube's edge. All right, so next in the algorithm, once I get that edge, I'm going to calculate the surface area. All right, so how do I calculate the surface area? The keyword that I use to assign the value of a math computation to a variable is set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the surface area to equal the edge times the edge times 6. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to output or display the surface area. And the key word that we use in pseudocode is put. And we're going to put the surface area. And then I'm going to end. And that is the simple process of building the pseudocode for the algorithm as a part of the design phase of the software development process.